Hello, Rajendran. Can you please check? Are you able to switch on your video?
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, it is working now.
Yes, yes. Shraddha will has joined too. Like,
Hello, Rajendran. Can you please check? Are you able?
Yeah, hi, I could see Shraddha. Rahul, we'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll start the session at 11.
Hey, hi Rajendran. Good morning.
Very good morning.
You're on.
Yeah,
Hi. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday morning.
no problem.
So we'll start sharp at 11.
Yeah, sure.
Just waiting for everyone to join in and then we'll start.
Yeah, fine. Shraddha, I'm unable to share my screen.
Oh, okay. I'll just check into it.
Yeah.
Rajendran, can you please check now?
Yeah, I'm checking. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So, we'll just walk through the session for the next 30 to 45 minutes, and the last 10 to 15 minutes we'll keep it for Q&A. So, if you have any questions, then you can ask us in the Q&A section, or you can even type it out in the chat. Or even after that, if you have questions, then please feel free to reach out to us via Dhan community, and we will make sure that we get it answered for you. Okay. Rajendran, we can get started.
Yeah, sure. Just let me know if you're able to listen to my voice clearly and if you're able to see my screen and everything is fine.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, fine. So good morning, guys. This is Kribakaran Rajendran, founder of Algo Trading from squareofpods.com. So in this session, I'll address a couple of things. So first, we'll get started with rule-based trading. So first, I'll try to explain what rule-based trading is all about. And then I'll try to give an example like how a simple data analysis, how using a simple historical data analysis could help us to make better investing decisions or trading decisions. So I'll try to explain that with a live example, like how using a simple data analysis, we were able to come out of S Bank and DHFL at a much earlier phase than no waiting for it to go as a penny stock. Then I'll try to explain about rules behind algo trading, or how a simple rule-based trading strategies could help us to make returns. So I'll try to explain one single trading strategy which you could apply it to Bank Nifty weekly options, and also I'll show the live examples of it. And then finally, I'll explain how Dhan users can use square of trading bots with their account without any cost associated to it. So these are the things that we'll address in this coming session. In case if you have any questions, you can just note it down, and we'll try to answer all your questions by end of this session. So to give a brief intro about myself, I've been working with multiple MNC companies over the last 10 years, where I worked with Infosys, Bank of America, and all those companies. Then I quit my job in 2017 to become a full-time trader, where I was trading from 2008. When I was in college, I started trading, and from 2008 to 2014, I was completely trading random. No, there is no proper rules that I was following. So whatever the strategies or whatever the trades that I used to take, it is completely based on what I see in news channel, or what I try to read in any specific newspaper. Or if some people try to recommend some stocks to me, I just get into it and buy that and hold it for a few weeks and get out of it. So whatever the trades that I did between 2018 to 2008 to 2014, in the 6 years, it was completely random in nature. So only from 2014, I get started with this algo trading. That happened because of a book called How I Made $2 Million by Nicholas Darvas. So that was the first book that I read, which is related to rule-based trading, where that book was all about a particular guy called Nicholas Darvas, who's a stage performer who used to travel across the world during 1970s and 80s period, where he has to travel across the world, and also he was dabbling with the stock markets back then. So this guy, who doesn't have any backgrounds with the markets, was able to make $2 billion back in 1970s, 80s, just with few set of rules, where he was trying to buy, a stocks which is going, and hitting 52-week high and trying to come out of it once the stock trends reverses. So with a simple rule-based system, this guy was making millions of dollars. So this gave a huge conviction to me that, okay, anybody could get into markets. It is not mandatory that we should have exposure to markets. Anybody could get into it and make good returns out of it if they follow a certain rule-based approach. So then from 2014 onwards, I started writing my own trading strategies, creating my own trading strategies, and focused on rule-based trading mechanisms. So over the last couple of years, I've written 1,200 plus articles related to trading and investing, which has crossed more than 15 million views. So you could check all those articles in my blogs, Square of Blogs, or you could also check it in platform like Quora. And I've conducted multiple webinars which help most users. And by 2017, I quit my job and started focusing full-time as a full-time trader. And also I created trading bots. So whatever the strategies which I applied and which was helping me was really making profit. So I thought if we could apply the same strategies and give it to retail users. So many retail users are good traders, but they are not good coders. So if we could give them a platform using which they can trade these rule-based trading strategies without having any coding, then it would be really beneficial for them. So that is how trading bots journey started. So this is to give a brief intro about myself. So I firmly believe data is the new oil. That is the sole reason even Reliance got into Geo, and they are completely focusing, moving from petroleum to data right now. And there are multiple other companies which have been specifically focusing on data, where if you could interpret the data, definitely you could make money out of it. And when I started trading, Warren Buffett was the only person whom I know with respect to trading. So I do not know any other persons with respect to trading, because most of us who get started with trading, they know Warren Buffett. Like, he has been investing since his 11, 12 years of age, and he has been holding. He's actually a long-term investor, so he holds stocks for decades and he makes huge money out of it. So many people know about Warren Buffett, but hardly few people know about the person who is there in the right hand side. So do any one of you know who's the person who is there at the right hand side? So you could just post it in the chat section or in the comment section. So just take a guess. So you could know Warren Buffett, but do you have any idea who the other person is? Because when I started getting into algo trading in 2014, I started researching more about people who are actually, trading, not investing. So investing is like you need to study the business and you have to take decisions based on what the company does. But with respect to trading, you need to know like what the thought process behind the trading decisions. So Jim Simons, the person you see on the right, is a person called Jim Simons, who is a mathematician who worked with US intelligence, and then he quit his job to start his own hedge fund. So they completely trade based on data driven approach. They don't study what the company business is doing. They don't care what the company's industry or which sector the stock is. All they do is they crunch huge historical data and they try to find anomalies from it. They try to find alpha from it, and they design their trading strategies based on these historical data sets. So he started this uh, Renaissance hedge fund in the year 1988. From then onwards, year on year, they were able to make no profits. Like that 2 years, like 2000 during the dot-com bubble, and years like 2008 during the global financial crisis, they were making three-digit returns, almost 100% returns. So since its inception to till date, this Renaissance hedge fund, which runs a medallion fund, was able to make returns year after year. And they not only trade in US markets, they trade across global markets, and they deploy their stocks algorithm, index algorithm, everything which is completely data driven. So basically they buy stocks and sell stocks within few minutes to few seconds or few days. They don't hold stocks like Warren Buffett. They just get in and get out and try to make quick returns out of it. So this gave a one more conviction that okay, there is a possibility that you could actually make huge returns if you are completely focused on data driven approach. So let me explain how S Bank and DHFL. So both these stocks, S Bank and DHFL, both these stocks almost crashed more than 40% in one single day. So that happened in the year 2018 September. So DHFL and S Bank, both the stocks were trading at a higher range, where they were been holding with multiple mutual funds. Large mutual funds were holding that stock. Many large individual investors were holding these stocks. But all of a sudden, one day, both these stocks crashed more than 40%. Usually, when a stock crashes, like 20% or 30%, it usually happens with the normal, mid cap stocks or small cap stocks. But a company like S Bank, which is already well established, and a company like DHFL, which is already well established, both these companies crashing big time in one single day is not a big, not a small thing. And no, I still remember I was trading manually, day trading that, and I could see these two stocks going down and down. And remember, a stock which is part of FNO, like both S Bank and DHFL was part of FNO, so they do not have any circuit filters. So unlike other stocks which have circuit filters, like the moment it reached 5%, the trading will be suspended for the day. The moment it reached 10%, the trading will be suspended for the day for non-FNO stocks. But for FNO stocks, there is no circuit filters. So if it goes up, it can go up. Companies like Reliance Communication and Jet Airways once moved more than 80-90% in one single day. But these two stocks, since they are part of FNO, they crashed more than 40% by the end of the day. So as an investor who is invested in these two companies, you have two choices. If you have just invested before, you are sitting at a 40 to 50% loss right now. So either you can accept this 50% loss and move out, or people who have not invested but seeing this stock which is currently available at a 50% discount than yesterday's price, they see it is now available at an attractive price. This is when most of the retail investors jumped in and bought both the stocks, DHFL and S Bank, the moment it crashed more than 40 or 50% in that day. But what I did that day, by the end of the day, was I just downloaded all the data from NSE and did a data analysis to find out, is there anything similar incident happened earlier. So I was able to see what are the list of stocks which are part of FNO that crashed more than 40% in one single day. So I just downloaded the data from NSE and did an analysis, and I could see multiple companies like Satyam Computers, Financial Technologies, Core Education, GTL Infra, Unitech, Akruti, Purvankara, and all these companies crashed more than 40% in one single day. So I could now I have the data. Okay, something has happened, and now these are the stocks which are part of FNO crashed more than 40%. Now I need to find out what has happened to these stocks after 2 years or 3 years. Once they crashed 40%, what happens to them? Do they bounce back? Did they make huge returns? And to my surprise, I could see all these stocks which crashed more than 40% in a single day couldn't go up. They couldn't move past their previous levels. So companies like financial technologies, core education, GTL infra, all these companies once crashed. Eventually, 2 years, 3 years down the line, they were trading as a penny stock. And no, whatever the examples that I took, none of them bounced back to its previous low, previous days high or previous peaks, and it continued to be a penny stock in a few years down the line. So I concluded and written a detailed article in Quora on the same day stating that it is better to avoid this stock. If you're holding the stock, better come out with a 50% loss and do not get into this stock. It is catching a falling knife, so it could hurt you more. But there were people still saying that the company fundamentals were robust, the company has a very good loan book. People were relying on the fundamental aspects of the company. But the thing is, the moment it crashed more than 40% in one single day, all the fundamentals got changed. But we got to know about these loan issues and all those other scams only few months down the line. By the time this news is out, the stock was already down 80-90%. So it is too late. So always the stock price reacts first, news comes later. So if you wait for the news for a confirmation and then if you have to come out, then no, you will be having a severe damage. But the moment you do all this simple historical analysis and you that gives you a huge conviction and tells you, okay, there is a higher probability that this could happen. So that is what happened on that day also. So eventually, DHFL went bankrupt, and all the investors who invested in that DHFL completely lost money, and same with S Bank and whatever people invested in S Bank, it still trades as a penny stock. So it is very, very difficult for investors or people who are relying on news factors or people who are relying on fundamentals. If you have to wait for a news to confirm, then it would really take a lot of time. But a simple data analysis, what I did not do any complex analysis. I just did a simple analysis to find what happened in the past and see whether those stocks has crashed more than 40% and what happened to them. And it is not no mandatory that the same thing could happen, but it has a higher probability that similar thing could repeat in the market. So that is what exactly happened with DHFL and SPAC. So if you are a trader or investor, so being an algo trading platform or trading bots provider, so we have a huge conviction with respect to historical data. So whatever the trading strategies we develop, we try to keep it very simple. We do not want to make it more complex, and also we do a robust data analysis and find out whether a specific strategy has worked in the past or not. And also we, for an example, this specific strategy, which is a bank nifty short straddle intraday strategy, which has been implemented live since 2020. So from then onwards, this has been running live in our through our trading boards. So I'll try to explain the rules behind the strategy first, and then I'll try to show how this specific strategy's execution happens, and then I'll explain what is the importance behind having a data-driven or back-tested trading strategies. So the rules of this strategy is simple. First thing, the instrument we trade will be Bank Nifty, which is on weekly options. And second thing, it is an option selling strategy, not an option buying strategy. And third thing, this is going to be a short straddle where you have to trade both call option and put option together. Only then it makes no returns. And fourth thing is it uses a fixed stop loss. So there is people always say there is unlimited risk associated with option selling. But if you have a fixed stop loss towards it, then the risk is limited where you're controlling the risk and then you're trying to make profits over the long run. So that is the idea behind this strategy. So the first thing you have to do is at 9:20 a.m. every day, find out what is the Bank Nifty's spot levels. So you have to find out where the Bank Nifty was currently trading by 9:20 a.m. So around 9:20 a.m. if it is trading at 31,500, then we will short at the money option, which means that we will short 31,500 call option and 31,500 put option. So we'll be shorting both the call option and put option with a 25% stop loss. So whatever the executed price is, suppose if it is executed at 100 rupees, then your stop loss is 125 rupees. So if it is executed at 200 rupees, your stop loss will be 250 rupees. So whatever your executed price from there, 25% is your stop loss. So we place both call option and put option. We short it and enter at 9:20, keep a 25% stop loss, and just leave it to the system. And by the end of the day, you find out what is the overall profit. So you say, suppose if the market keeps on moving up and up, what happens is your call option will hit the stop loss and you will come out of it. But the put option will continue to decay. As long as the market moves up, your put option will continue to decay and you make profits out of it. Similarly, if the market goes down, then your put option stop loss will hit because we are keeping a minimal stop loss here. And your call option will continue to decay and you eventually make profits out of it. So a short straddle strategy with a fixed stop loss is actually not a delta neutral strategy. It is actually a trend following strategy because this strategy makes profit only when the markets moves up or moves down. So no, obviously it has to move on either side. So as long as the market moves in one side on the upside or on the downside, it would be able to make profits on the long run. So no, and also the position sizing is really important. Say for an example, in order to do a short strangle strategy, the approximate capital required to execute the strategies varies anywhere between 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs. So that is going to be your actual margin, which will be blocked by the broker to execute this strategy. So you are trading Monday to Friday and you need 2 lakhs just to execute this strategy. So addition to this 2 lakhs, you need to have a buffer capital of at least 50,000 to 80,000 to handle these MTM losses because every day it is not going to be profit. Someday it is going to be loss, someday it is going to be profit. But in order to find out what is the worst case scenario, I'll show you. Okay. See, the premium varies between Monday to Friday because the new expiry starts on Friday and ends on Thursday. So always on Fridays the premiums will be higher. Mondays it will be a little lower. Tuesday and Wednesday it will be lower. And by Thursday it will be lowest. So we are keeping a 25% stop loss, right? So for an example, on Monday when we trade with the 400 rupees at the money options, so the stop loss would be around 100 points. So if the stop loss is hit, we are going to lose 2,500 rupees. And if the stop loss is hit on both call option side and also put option side, we are going to lose 5,000 rupees. So when you're trading with a capital of 2 lakhs, this particular risk is about just 3%. So, and next day again, if both the stop loss is hit, you're going to lose 2%. And Wednesdays and Thursdays, because of the premiums are lower, you are all hardly you're going to lose 1%, even if both the side stop losses hit, if you're using 2 lakhs as capital. But we recommend to trade this strategy with 3 lakhs of capital so that in both the sides, if stop loss is hit, at the maximum, the capital that you're going to lose is hardly 2% or 1.5%. So with respect to this strategy, so this is how much it is made in live market. So we have deployed this as a bot where you don't need to find out what is at the money option. You don't need to go and click on call option and put option to execute. I'll explain how this complete execution can be done with a click of a button without any manual interventions in the coming slides. But this is the live profits it has made for one lot. So from August 2020 to almost for the last 1.5 years, this is the net profits it has made after all the charges. Like I've included brokerage, transaction charges, clearing charges, STT. Because most beginners think that 20 rupees is the brokerage, is a only transaction cost associated with every trade. Other than brokerage, you have to pay STT, you have to pay stamp duty, you have to pay clearing charges. So there are 6 different charges other than brokerage, which we tend to pay. So in spite of all that charges, still it ended up with almost 70 to 80% of overall profits if you're trading with 3 lakhs of capital. And one more important point is main thing with respect to trading is it is non-linear. Like your 80% of the profits will come from 20% of the trades. So Pareto principle will be applicable with respect to trading also. So we can't expect returns that can give you huge returns every month on month. For an example, if you observe this returns, for an example, April 2021 it gave 61,000. So if you're trading with 3 lakhs, you are making 61,000. That is almost 20% of returns. And again, August it made 11,000. And if you observe this December 2020, it made 46,000. But there are other months where it made 7,000, minus 2,000, and minus 6,000. So that will always be there. But once in a while, it gives you huge profits when the markets moves in a one-sided direction. So when you are trading any specific trading strategies, the returns are always going to be a non-linear. And as I said earlier, this short straddle strategy with a fixed stop loss is actually a breakout trading system. So 8.6% of the time, the stop loss was not hit on both the sides. So you place a trade, 920, you check what is the bank nifty spot, you find what is the at the money option, you short both call option and put at the money options with a 25% stop loss. So only 8% of times, both the stop loss was not hit. And 19% of the time, both the stop loss was hit. And almost 75% of the time, only one side stop loss was hit and the other side stop loss was not hit. So obviously the other side decayed more and it overall ended up giving you a higher profits. So a short straddle strategy and option selling strategy gives you good profits when the market tends to move in a one-sided direction. And as I said earlier, there will always, no matter what kind of strategies or no matter what kind of different systems that we use, there will always be a period where markets could go down and can provide you a streaks of losses over a period, but eventually it would get recovered. But people who are sticking to this drawdown phase are the people who could eventually make money out of it. So if you are trading here and if the market goes down and you tend to lose faith in your system and stop trading it here, then you will completely miss out the recovery period here. So no matter what kind of the oscillation markets go through, what kind of volatility it goes through, as long as you have the desired recommended capital and trade each and every single day, eventually on the long run, that is going to be profitable for you. So I'll try to explain first how this execution thing happens so that it is easier for you to understand. So first thing is you have to go to squareofbots.com. So whatever the strategies that I currently explained, I'll show you how you could execute the strategy through Dhan broker without having any coding or any complexities. So first thing is you go to squareofbots.com from your mobile or from your laptop, and you just have to click on login. So once you click on login, it would take you to the respective broker. You just have to click on done. So once you click on done, then it would ask you to authenticate it. So since Square is integrated with done, it would ask you to authenticate your account. So whatever your trading credentials with done, enter your credentials and proceed further. And once you proceed further, then you would be logging into the algo dashboard. So this is the algo dashboard that you see. So Square of trading boards is almost similar to small case, where small case is for investing, where you have basket of strategies and where you can pick any of that and invest in it. Similarly, here also we have basket of strategies. Like if you click on option selling, it will tell you what are the list of strategies that does option selling. If you click on option buying here in the filter, it will tell you what are the list of bots that does option buying. If you wanted to trade only on stocks, then you can click on stocks. That is going to give you basket of strategies. So now, whatever the strategy, so this is the strategy which I explained, Bank Nifty short straddle bot. So all you have to do is log into squareofbots.com, authenticate your Dhan account, and enter the number of lots that you wanted to trade and click on trade. That's all. So your work is done. So there is no integrations, there is no setups, there is no software that is required. You can use your mobile browser or you can use your laptop browsers. Just log in, enter your input, whatever the lots that you wanted to trade. Say here, I have recommended the lots is 3 lakhs and I have traded 2 lots, which means I should have 6 lakhs as a capital in order to trade 2 lots. So if I have only 3 lakhs in my account, I'll be trading only 1 lot. And then I just click on trade, then that's all. So whenever a trade takes place, so whenever those conditions which I told you get satisfied, it will automatically get executed in your Dhan account. And whatever the orders that are executed by the bots, you would be able to see it in the orders window, like what strategy it is, what symbol it is, what price it got executed, and everything you would be able to see. So from user side, they just have to see what is the recommended capitals. For an example, all F&O bot will have a minimum recommended capital of 3 lakhs to trade on lot. And if you're trading with bots like RSA cash segment, then even you can trade with 10,000 also. Like you can just give input as 10,000 and click on trade. So whenever this RSA is a strategy which trades on cash market. So it tries to short sells the stocks during the intraday time frame and closes it. So all the strategies that you see here with respect to trading bots are completely intraday. and you don't need to worry about holding it overnight, because all the portion gets squared off automatically by day end. So from user side, the only requirement is you just have to log in and you click on whatever the input lot size that you wanted to trade. And then once you enter the lot size, click on trade, your work is done. You don't need to keep the laptop open, or there is no service requirement as such. And also you can click on no details, like whatever the no details. Say suppose if I wanted to know what is the strategy behind this, I just have to click on details. So now currently it is not opening, but once it is updated, it will open, where it will show you like what is the strategy behind it, like what is the rules behind it, how the execution happens, and everything would be able to see it. Alternatively, you could see it in this place where no trading bots. I'll show you. So once you go to this link, squareoff.in/trading bots, then here you would be able to see what is the strategy behind each and every bot. So you just have to click on here. That is going to open the detailed description, like what is the rules behind it, how it got, what is the stop loss behind it, what is the logic behind it, and what is the overall PNL. So everything you would be able to see. And you can also see what is the overall performance of live performance of all the bots. Like once you go to performance.squareoffbots.com, then there you will be able to see, okay, what is the overall returns it has made. Like if I click on Bank Nifty short strategy, then it would show me with one lot, if I'm trading with 3 lakhs, what would be my overall returns looks like what is my 30 days PNL looks like, and what is my monthly profits looks like. So everything you would be able to see, inclusive of all the charges here. So from user side, so that is a only requirement. Once you give inputs, then the bot would automatically take care of all the necessary execution. So you don't need to do any specific additional manual interventions here. So that is what I wanted to convey. So let me show you the other slide. So the last and important slide before I take up the questions. So just a second. Yeah. Let me open it up. Yes. See, with respect to streaks of losses, with respect to drawdown. So drawdown is nothing but there will be streaks of losses which you could face irrespective of any strategies, but there is no way that you could avoid it. But if you have the right position sizing, then we just have to survive the drawdown period in order to make profits over the long run. That is all we need. And the more money that you lose, the higher returns we need to make to get back. Say, suppose if you have lost 50% of capital, then you need to make 100% returns just to get back to break even. So if you have 1 lakh of capital and you've lost 50,000 of it and you're left with only 50,000, then with this 50,000 capital, you need to make 100% returns just to get back to where you were previously. So that is why it is very, very important to control the drawdowns with whatever kind of strategies that you do. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to get back to whatever the money that you have lost. So if you're a person who have lost money, or if you're a person who's trying to recover all your losses, the first thing that you need to do is stop trying to recover all your losses in one trade or two trade. If you're trying to do that, you're going to blow up all your rest of the money as well. So first thing here is we need to accept that, okay, we have lost it, and what is the right way to do the trading as a business. So first thing we have to do is we should have a process. So we only when there is a process, there will be a progress. So just like going to a gym, and just everybody goes to gym, but not everybody are in a right shape, because only people who have the right process, who do, okay, they have to be disciplined every single day. They have to go to gym and every single day, and they have to follow proper diet. What you do in the gym is not more important. What you do outside of the gym is more important, which gives you the overall result. That is exactly what you have to do with respect to trading. So if you have to get the desired result, first you need to get associated with the right process. So the right process is nothing but have the clear cut rules. So once you have the clear cut rules, and once you execute the same rules each and every single day, eventually you will be able to see a good progress out of it. And once you get disciplined, then you could scale up your capital. So because when I started, the main mistake that I did was, whenever I try to find a strategy, and whenever I try to attend some webinars and see, okay, this strategy is really good, I put all my capital into it and try to trade that. But that is giving that is going to give you a more headache, because you are not familiar with the specific strategy. You need to know how the strategy behaves when the market is moving up, when the market is moving down, how the MTM fluctuation is going to be. So you have to get used to the strategy. So the key here is not to make profits, but the key here is to get used to the trading process, trading rules, whatever the rule-based trading system is. So the first only thing that I would recommend you is take any specific trading strategy, the one that I explained, or through the bots. Trade as one single strategy for 100 days completely, and forget about putting all your capital. Just trade with one lot for the next 100 days, and whatever the rules that I told you, just okay, by 9:20 I'm entering into the trade, and on just by end of the day I'm exiting it. Or if you're using the bots, just trade the same bot which I've shown you right now. Every day give one lot as an input and trade it, and don't try to override your system, because by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock itself you will see, okay, I'm making 5,000 rupees profit, why should I wait till end of the day? Probably I'll try to close it. So all these kind of manual interference or no manual urge to close your positions would kick in. But if you are following a rule-based system, you just have to get adapted to it. Just blindly follow it. Do not bring in your own analysis to it. Otherwise, it is not going to give you the desired results. So follow the rules, pick up a trading strategy, trade with one lot for next 100 days. So all you have to do is take an Excel sheet, enter what is the date. For an example, okay, 10th of April, 11th of April, 12th of April. Every single day, just have the date, and next to the date column, give +1 if you are following the rules. Enter -2 if you're overriding the rules. So if the rule states that, okay, this is the stop loss and this is where I have to exit, if you're clearly following that, and whatever, doesn't matter whether that day ended up in profits or loss. If you clearly followed it, give 1 mark. If you're overriding the rules before the stop loss is hit, you have done the analysis and you have closed the positions by yourself, or whenever you try to interfere and override the rules, give -2 mark. So at end of 100 days, find out what is your overall score. As long as your score is greater than 90, then you are the best disciplined trader. If your score is really low, then you still need to work on discipline. You don't need to work on strategy, because strategy is already there. You don't need to be worried about the strategy. Strategy is already there. The only thing you have to be worried about is whether you are disciplined or not. So the moment after 100 days, trading with only one lot, you can have 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs of capital. Don't put all your capital into it. Try to trade with one lot for 100 days and see whether you are able to stick to the system and are having the right discipline to it. And if you do that, and then if you trade it, then by the end of 100 days, then you will know how the market behaves, how the strategy behaves with the different kind of moments, and then you will have more conviction to the strategy. So next time, from one lot, if you're trading with 5 lots or 10 lots, you will have the conviction to hold on to the trade by end of the day instead of overriding in the rules. Then eventually you would stick to it. So it is much easier for you to have follow a process once you get understand to it. So instead of just telling them, okay, this is the bot, just click here, the execution happens automatically, you don't need to do anything, then you will not have conviction behind it. So that is why I've explained each and every rule in detail in order for you to understand, okay, this is the logic behind it, and this is the platform which gives you the execution. And that is how the overall returns are made eventually. So before I conclude and take up a question and answer session, this is the last slide that I wanted to show you. So the chart that you see is nothing but the actual live performance of Dhan. So Dhan is one of a famous hedge fund manager based out of US who handles millions of dollars. And this guy has been trading since 1970. And from 1970 to till date, almost 30, 50 years, he has been trading same single trend following system. And this is how his overall fund's performance looks like. The red line that you see is nothing but an index returns, which is on an average is given 12%. It is S&P index is similar to our Nifty index. And the blue line is their actual fund performance. If you could see, all these arrow marks which is mentioned there are nothing but the drawdowns. That is the money that he has lost. Eventually it recovered. But periods like 2008, where he lost 63%, periods like 2000, he lost 40%. But whatever the money he lost, 35, 25, 40. So there were no more than 12 drawdowns, which are greater than -25%. So every time he lost money, eventually it recovered. So even if it is not recovered immediately, it recovered eventually. And over the last 40 or 50 years, he's been trading the same single strategies for prolonged period of time. Irrespective of the drawdowns, his returns are much better than the index returns, and he's able to make much higher returns. So a guy like Dhan, who is managing billions of dollars, if he himself is going through these kind of losses of 30 or 40%, definitely we could also go through those kind of phases. But that is the phase where it would put you, in doubt whether you'll start to think whether should I follow the strategy or not, or is the strategy stopped working. So you'll have all these dilemma during those periods. But as long as you're able to execute it flawlessly, you will stick to it. So that is why the 100 days exercise is really important. So once you go through those 100 days having one specific strategy with one lot, you will have more conviction towards your system. So and if you're a Dhan user, you can directly go ahead and go to squareofbots.com and start your trial. So we'll, as a launch offer, we'll give access to all Dhan users at free of cost for first 3 months. So if you're a Dhan user, you don't need to pay any charges. You can directly use the bot, because basically we charge 25,000 per year to access the bot. But for Dhan users, we are not going to charge for the next 3 months. You can completely use it at a free of cost, and try it out with all the bots, with whatever the bots that I have mentioned it. And then, and if you have any specific questions, you can also post it in the support at squareoff.in. So now I'll take up the question. So if you have any questions, you can post your questions. I would address it. So by default, when you're taking up a trial, it would show you 7 days free trial. But once the free trial is over, you just have to drop a mail to support at squareoff.in with your Dhan ID, where we'll enable the access. So I'll just drop an email ID in the list in the chat window. So this is the email ID that you need to send an email. So once we receive an email, then we would automatically extend your trial. So by default, 7 days is a free trial, but we'll enable access to 3 months to all the users for Dhan users. So if you have any questions, so I'll just try to address the questions. I'll just go through the chat window and see. Just a second. Just give me a moment. Let me open up the chat section.
Thanks, Kiru, for walking us through the deck. It was really helpful. Yeah. So what I'll do is I can read out the questions and you can address them.
Yeah, that's better, Shraddha.
Yeah. Just give me a moment.
Yes.
Okay, so the first question is from Mr. Nagaraj. He's saying, can we see it on the square off side? What is the percentage success of each strategy or lot based on past data so that a user can take informed decisions?
Yes. So now you can just go to this link. So I'll just paste it here. Just go to here, this link, which will tell you what is the winning accuracy, what is the risk reward ratio, what is the monthly returns after all the charges. So everything gets updated here on a daily basis. So people could see in this link. That would give them a better expectation.
Okay. So the next question is, if they use a bot and suppose there is a technical glitch either from NSE or broker's end, and when the technical glitch is resolved, how does the bot behave on stop loss net?
So basically what happens is, as soon as the entry is placed, all the bots places the respective stop loss orders associated with it. So even if there is an exchange issue or even if there is a broker issue, the stop loss goes and sits into your system. So when there's system, when there is an inbuilt strategies or when there is an inbuilt stop loss associated with it, it directly goes and sits in the system. So even if there is a glitch, it doesn't matter, because it's obviously going to take care if the market goes down or goes up. Your stop loss will be there, which will help you to protect your overall open positions.
Okay. Another question is from Pawan. He's asking if, can we get to know the drawdown period in advance since we are using machine learning? So is there any caution that it might show, like, a message or something?
No, there is no drawdown messages. See, the thing is, any trading outcome is completely random in nature. So before we take a trade, we would not know whether that day is going to be profitable or not. If you are so sure that that day is going to be profitable, obviously we'll trade with the higher size. And if we are so sure that that day is going to be lost, obviously we'll avoid those trades. But trading outcome is completely random in nature. As a trader, we just have to take each and every trade. But as long as you're trading with the recommended capital, like 3 lakhs per lot, then it is much easier to handle all these drawdown phases. So it will not be an issue, in handling all these streaks of losses.
Okay, so we have another question from Sanjay. He's asking if the capital required is it per month or per day?
No, capital required is actually the capital required to get started with the strategy. Say, suppose if I'm trading with any of the strategies, so whatever the strategies that you're trading, you just have to have that specific amount in your Dhan account. Say, suppose I'm a guy who's trading with this RSI bot, then I should have 50,000. If it's recommended as 50,000, you should have 50,000. When you started, say, suppose you're starting with 50,000 and tomorrow it has gone down to 40,000, you don't need to add an extra 10,000 to trade next day. When you're starting, at that time, you just have to have the desired capital. Once it goes down due to losses, you don't need to add an extra funds. It is calculated based on all these tricks of losses only. So you don't need to top up your capital whenever the loss happens.
Okay. Another question is from Hitesh. So he's asking if Square of Bots executes market orders, how can we be protected in case of freak trades that might happen?
No, what happens is we use a stop loss limit modifier functionalities with respect to the bots. So when you're placing an order and it enters into a trade since an option selling, and we place a SL limit order, it first tries to know when a stop loss is hit, only a limit order will be there in the system, and it checks whether the order is filled or not. If the order is not filled within n seconds, then it converts that into a market order. So all those spikes, even we have written a detailed article. I'll try to show what this spikes are all about. So all these spikes happens with fraction of seconds, like within 1 to 2 seconds, maximum 1 2 seconds itself is a big thing. So there is within fraction of seconds, this spike happens and freak trade happens. But when you're using a limit modifier functionality, what it does is it checks whether the particular trade is filled or not. If it is not filled, then it automatically converts that into a market order and then sets an exit signal. So you can refer this blog link to see how this freak trades are handled by our bots.
Okay. We have another question from Satish. He's asking if he can set up his own bots on Renko.
No, that is not possible. So we see, as I said earlier, this is completely based on inbuilt strategies which we have. So if you have your own customized strategies, it cannot be implemented with respect to Square of bots.
Another question from Kiran. He's asking if we can log in anytime and set an execution of strategy for morning 9:20 a.m.
No, the recommended time to give input is every day between 8 o'clock to 9:15 a.m. So every day comment after 8 o'clock, just give an input to the bot and just leave it to the bot, and the bot would automatically place the trades and closes the positions by end of the day. But if you try to place by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, then the orders would have already gone through, because as per the strategy, the execution should happen at 9:20. So anytime after 8 and anytime before the execution time, you can give input, then the bot would automatically take care of the execution. But every day it is necessary because your token gets expired automatically in 24 hours. So you cannot set and forget for the complete month. You need to come in and log in every day, give input and leave it to the system. That's all. You don't need to keep the laptop open or keep the mobile processor open. Once the input is given, it gets saved in the cloud and automatic execution happens.
Okay. We have another question from Nitin. He's asking where and how he can track it in the live market.
Yeah, as soon as the execution happens, you could see it in the orders window, what are the strategies that is being fired. Also, you could log into your Dhan app or Dhan mobile platform and Dhan web platform to see what are the orders that are being placed and what is the P&L, everything. You could track it on a live basis directly from your broking trading terminal.
Okay. We have another question from Samir. He's asking that if at the time of placing order, we had a stop loss at 25%, and if one stop loss is hit and for other order, how much time will he have to wait to take the profit?
No, once the stop loss is hit, so you just need to hold on till end of the day. If the other stop loss is not hit, you just have to hold on till the end of the day. Because if you're trying to close it so soon, then you're limiting your overall profits. As I said earlier, 80% of your overall profits will come from less than 20% of the trades. So it's better that you hold the positions. Like only when the stop loss is hit, you're closing. If the stop loss is not hit, you're just holding it till end of the day and then closing it.
Okay. We have another question from Kolimi. He's asking if can we use stop pledge margin?
Yes, definitely. See, as long as your broker accepts, so there will be list of stocks which each and every broker accepts, and there will be certain haircuts. Say companies like blue chips like Reliance, all these blue chip companies will have just 10% of haircut. So you will get 90% of margin Using that margin, you can trade the bots. So you don't need to bring in additional capital. Say suppose you have 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs worth of stocks in your account, you can pledge that and use that as a margin to trade these bots. So you don't need to bring in additional capital.
Okay. Vinod is asking if there is any live demo of the platform.
There is no demo as such, but if you go to Square of Boards, YouTube channel, you would be able to see how all the execution happens. So as I said earlier, there is no setups. Only there's 3-step process. You just go to Square of Boards, click on login, authenticate using that, enter the input. That's all. So there is no additional setups, or there is nothing such as a demo that is you really need to do it, because everything is straightforward here. So within 3 steps, everything gets done. So that is why we don't have any live demos here.
Okay. And are the auto square off charges considered in the performance sheet?
No, auto square off will be done from our side. So the bot will initiate the auto square off for you. If you leave it to the broker, sometimes the broker would charge the auto square off. But no, the bots itself will send square off orders for you. So you don't need to incur any additional charges for the day.
We have one more question from Nitin. He's asking if he can square off the position on his own.
Yeah, sure. So whenever, if you wanted to square off your positions, then that can be done at any point of time. See, you just have to go here and you can just click on stop. So once you stop the strategies, then the strategies will be automatically stopped, and then you can directly square off the positions from your broker's end. If you don't stop the bot, then the bot would think that the position is still open and it would send the orders. So if you manually wanted to square off, it's better you just stop the bot and then square off the positions.
Okay. We have one more question. So basically, is the super trend strategy available to trade?
Currently, we don't have a super trend strategies associated with it. So whatever the strategies that we currently have here is completely based on inbuilt strategies, but not based on indicators.
Okay. And is it possible to do virtual trading on Square Off?
No, paper trading environment or virtual trading is not available. Say suppose, what you can do alternatively is, say you do not have 3 lakhs in your account. So in this case, if you give input, then the orders will be fired. So you could see what are the orders that are fired, but it gets rejected at the broker side. But here in the order section, you will see what are the list of orders that has been fired. So the better way, like if you wanted to track it before you, put it in your live account, then you don't need to keep any amount in your broking account. Just enter the input. The bot would send in orders. Eventually, it will get rejected because of insufficient funds. But you can see what are the orders that has been fired by these bots here.
Okay. Another question is that do you have any other well-known index buying option strategies just like the BNF straddle?
No, we do have an option buying strategy, which is kind of a golden ratio bots options, which is kind of a breakout strategy. So it basically tracks the futures. So we first designed the strategy only to trade in futures. But whenever the futures orders are triggered, like that specific strategy triggers a buy order, then this options will automatically buy a call option. If a futures initiates a short position, then this options bot would buy a put option. So we do have a buying positions, but as I said earlier, it is completely non-linear in nature. You cannot expect that bot to trigger trade each and every day. Bank Nifty short straddle can trigger each and every day, but these kind of option buying strategies could trigger only 6 times or 7 times in a day.
Okay. We have another question from Prashant. He is asking that, same features are available on other apps as well. So what would make them switch to Square Off?
See, with respect to Square Off, it's completely based about inbuilt strategy. So, we initially, when we get started with in Square Off, we wanted to provide higher returns. But eventually, what we did is, instead of focusing on higher returns, because higher returns comes with higher risk, then we decided, okay, it's all about volatility. So, as long as people are able to make decent returns with a very minimal drawdown, then they would be able to stick to it. So we started developing multiple different strategies that are uncorrelated to each other. For an example, the short strategy, which I explained right now, makes profit when the markets moves in one-sided direction. And there is this spot like 1% short strategy, which is designed to make profits when the market is in range bound. So when you trade with these multiple uncorrelated strategies, then your volatility goes down drastically. Like your overall risk goes down drastically. and you tend to make a decent returns over the long run. So the main what differentiates Square Off is because of these inbuilt strategies which has been tested for a long enough, and also it is all these profits or performance that we have shown as actual live performance. So that is actual profits people made. So it is not even a back tested result. So the main difference is to give them a basket of strategies which are uncorrelated to each other with the least minimal risk.
Okay. Also, could you just guide us through the scalping strategy?
No, we don't have any scalping strategies as such. Scalping strategies involves a lot of transaction cost associated with it, as you have to get in and get out of within a fraction of seconds. So whatever the strategies we have is completely low latency, low frequency strategies. We don't have any scalping strategies with respect to our bots. And with respect to this, Dhan, I mean, people who wanted to take Square of bots as a trial, there is no cost associated with it. So even after the trial ends, there will not be any money that will be deducted from your account or from your Dhan account. So Dhan doesn't charge anything for API. So to give a brief explanation about that, you don't need to enable anything from your end also. So that as long as you have Dhan account, by default your API gets enabled, and Dhan doesn't detect any additional charges to use Square of bots. Neither we don't charge any additional charges to use Square of bots. So the moment you click on trial, don't need to be worried about any cost associated with it. So you won't pay anything, or we don't detect. So once the 1 week free trial is over, you can just drop us an email there. So you just have to mention this ID, which is mentioned at the top right. So this is going to be your Dharma ID, which is unique with each and every user. Once you share this number with us, in the email ID, we'll enable the 3 months of free trial after your 1 week default free trial gets enabled. So people who wanted to get started, and people who are confused like which kind of strategies they wanted to get started with, I would recommend you to get started with two bots. So one is Bank Nifty short straddle strategy, and the next one is 1% Bank Nifty short straddle strategy. So these are completely uncorrelated strategies, which makes no good returns over the long run. So if you, as long as you trade these two strategies, it's good. And also we mentioned the re-entry button, so which means that when a stop loss is hit, it could initiate a new one more positions again, which in turn ends up in higher profits. So out of all these so many bots, if you're a user who wanted to pick a one or two strategy which you wanted to trade it for the next 1 or 2 months, you could trade this Bank Nifty short straddle bot, which is mentioned as number 2, and you can trade this 1% Bank Nifty short straddle bot, which is mentioned at number 7. These two could give you a decent returns with the minimal drawdowns. So the process is straightforward. You log in, you enter the lot size, and you click on trade. That's all. It will be in running state. So as long as it is in running state, which means that this bot is active in your account and conditions are met, the execution going to happen. The stop button is there for you to close any positions manually. Say suppose you're seeing some 3,000 profits and you don't want it to wait till end of the day, you just have to stop it, go to your broker, close your position. That's all.
Thanks for addressing all the questions in detail. That I hope that helps. If you have any
Shraddha.
other folks, please drop in those to our community and we will get it resolved. Now, before we end the session, just one last announcement. So we are soon coming up with our app, which is specially built for option traders. This is India's first app that is built for traders. And let me just walk you through all that we are offering. So I'll just drop in the link in the chat for you to register for early access. So we are giving out a priority access to 10,000 people, and along with it, if you get priority access, you will also get free pre-built strategies for a month and free live scanners. So let me just share my screen. Just give me a moment. Rahul, could you allow me to share the screen?
Shraddha, I made you as an host. Can you try sharing your screen now?
Sorry, I think there is a network problem with Shraddha.
Guys, there is some issue. I think Shraddha would reconnect again to show what this options trader is all about. So basically, option trader is kind of a tool that is provided by Dhan, which makes the execution much easier for no active options trader. I guess she is back.
Yeah, just a second. Let me know when my screen is visible. Is it
It's
visible?
visible. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So guys, this is where you can enter your phone number and register for the early access. And this is all that you get along with the awesome features that we've built on Dhan, which are industry first features. So you get market outlook, pre-built strategies, live market scanners, option Greeks, payoff graphs. Along with it, you can also trade in deep OTM, ITM options. You get baskets with margin benefits and instant pledge and unpledge for margin. And the best part is that everything on Dhan is in sync. So be it Dhan app, Dhan web, or trading view on Dhan, every order, every layout that you create will be in sync. So don't wait and register today for the early access. And if you are lucky, you will get priority access to the app. I will also drop in the link to our community so you can just write to us there.
So guys, so now once the 1 week free
Okay,
trial
I
is
think then we
over,
can end that. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't think we have any more questions.
yeah, fine. So in case if you have any specific questions, you can drop me an email also. And if in case the trial ends, you can drop an email to support@squareoff.in. We'll enable free access to all the Dhan users for 3 months. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Shraddha. Thanks, Rahul.
Thanks for joining us and giving your time. And we hope to do many more of this.
Sure. Thank
Thank
you
you,
guys.
everyone. Thank you for being a great audience. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.